major topics. So we will hear from all co-hosts today because this conference is being provided under the bigger project, so-called the Climate Dialogues, and we're going to meet all of the project leaders. It is very interesting to learn who is here today with us, which expert knowledge we have present here in our online audience. And we are going to speak about the region, about the EECCA network and the Climate Dialogues project. Also, we are going to hear about the position before COP26 from the EECCA region. We are going to discuss renewable energy situation in the EECCA region and also the future without the fossil fuels, how the just transition would be possible. Also, we're going to have some closing words, but before beginning and starting with our program, I'd like to give the floor to Theo. Theo, can't hear you. Theo, are you here? Yeah, I see that she's experiencing some technical issues, so then let's move on and give the floor to our organizers. I think I'm here. I'm sorry. I just couldn't find this mute and unmute button. Can you hear me now? Yes, we can. Thank you very much, Elena. I would like to welcome all of you here. Very happy to be here today with you. Since I started working with this program since the very beginning in March, and I wanted to follow the group work. I was very interested in the results. My name is Theo. I'm from Georgia. We are going to co-host this event together with Elena, and we are going to have an introduction part a little bit later. We're going to make it as introductive as alive as possible. So now I would like to give the opening words to Julia Pashkovska. She's a coordinator. I think you know her well. So Julia, the floor is yours. Yes, hello everyone. I'm very happy to see all of you here. It is just a great honor to me to coordinate the climate dialogue since the beginning of the year, and I'm grateful to all of our organizers who have invited me here. And I hope that today's conference will be a very fruitful one because we have many things that have to be done in the region, and I'm so grateful to group members who have shared their time for this group work, who have dedicated a lot of effort. They worked in order to organize webinars and online meetings. I think we did just great job, and we have an expert platform in the region that has to be further expanded, valued, reinforced, and strengthened. And I hope that this conference will be one of the steps towards this great goal. Thank you very much. Greetings from Poltava, from Ukraine. It is quite warm and nice day here, and let us be ready to COP26. Yeah, thank you very much, Julia. And I'd like to give the floor to Severin Ettel, who is from the organization Friends of the Earth, Germany. He's the project manager of our program.
Thanks, Theo. It's great to see you. And now it's going to be recorded in the Russian channel too. I'm doing some English. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm so much enjoying this climate dialogues. It's such great success. I love seeing people communicating and exchanging so much. I think it's a necessity to do so. And I just wanted to briefly introduce myself. So my name is Severin. I'm with BUND. This is the Friends of the Earth group from Germany. Friends of the Earth is an international network of civil society organizations. We have, I think, 73 groups worldwide. And BUND itself is also a federation. So you must know that BUND has, I think, 2,500 local groups that really work on local issues like nature conservation and stuff that really matters on the ground. And then we're organized in federal state organizations. So every federal state in Germany has its own sub-organization in contrast to the national bureau that I work in. And within this national office, we really treat a lot of topics from not only nature conservation, but also climate. Our climate department comprises of, I think, 13 people. We cover coal, nuclear phase out, renewable energy, of course, and H2 recently. And yeah, and also from agriculture to whatever you can come up with regarding environmental protection. Just to give you an idea of what we do, so don't be shy to contact me if you need any further information or contacts in this regard. Me personally, I work on this project on strengthening civil society for climate policy. So it's a kind of a meta topic. I'm not working on any hard stuff like phasing out coal, but I'm working on a meta topic to strengthen civil society for those topics. And also in this regard, don't be shy to contact me in regards of matters of participation in climate policy and so on. So thanks again. Welcome everyone, and I'm very much looking forward to the upcoming hours with you.
Thank you very much, dear Severin. Спасибо огромное. Я хочу следующее слово передать.
Thank you very much, and I'd like to give the floor to Andrei Mccarrenco, who's coming from the Friedrich Ebert Foundation. Yeah, good day, everyone, or good evening. It depends on where you're from. We have a lot of countries here presented, so we have very diverse time zones. My name is Andrei Mccarrenco. I'm the regional Friedrich Ebert Stiftung office foundation office coordinator, and also I work in our competence center on the climate and just transition. I'd like to give to pass the greetings from Christopher Forst, who couldn't be present in today's event. This day is very important to me because from the very beginning I was among the team of organizers, and also I was a member of the Just Transition work group. And of course, it is very interesting to see the results of this group work that have been delivered throughout this time of 10 months. And another thing that we have to discuss today is what do we have to do with this result, with this key lessons learned, with this network that has been built? How do we support this context, and how to translate the results, the outcomes of this work into something tangible, into something lasting, sustainable? And how we should fight the climate crisis in joint efforts. It is very symbolic and is very rightful to have such events like this one. That is why I'd like to wish a very fruitful discussion today, and I'd like to give the floor to our next speakers. Thank you very much, Andrew. And here I'd like to give the floor to our partners from Georgia, representatives of the Green Movement of Georgia. This is Eteri Drencheradze.
And after all this great greeting words. I just want to thank you all. I just want to sincerely thank everyone, the participants and organizers of the project on behalf of the Greatest Moment of Georgia. While climate change impacts around the globe are becoming ever more severe and frequent, action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions continues to lag behind what is needed in practically all countries and in all sectors. Therefore, every measure, every event, every effort to clearly demonstrate the urgency and the feasibility of climate change mitigation is of crucial importance. And this is why GMG supports this project of climate dialogues. And this is why your everyday work is of crucial importance. And this is why we really, really appreciate your effort to influence the broader public and climate politics. So thank you again, and I wish all of you a fruitful day today.
Спасибо большое, Это. Я думаю, что мы сейчас уже можем перейти.
Thank you very much, Eto. And I think this is where we should start working with our participants, and I'd like to ask Elena to give me such a function. I see that we are more than 60 people here present today, and we should get to know each other better to see the scale of today's meeting. And in order to do that, I'd like to ask you to use the link which you can see here. I'm going to either post this link in our chat, or you can also use your smartphone with a camera in order to use the QR code, and by doing so you will see a map. On this map you're gonna have to find yourself. So let me demonstrate to you how we have to do it at first. So here in this search list you will be able to find your city or your country. Here below, please type in your name, and then you can add something like a picture of yourself, for example, that you would be able to make immediately using your laptop camera, or you could upload a picture from your document, or you could add something else. For example, you could share a link to your organization website so that we could know where you're from, how you look like, and what your organization is. But also you could, for example, type in several keywords, sharing with us your expert knowledge, what you are expert in. And you can add a GIF file or your phone number or any other words like sharing how you feel now, or uploading a musical file.
So we have approximately 5 minutes for it. Yeah, so we can do it. Okay. So please take your time. Okay, we have from Georgia, from Kyiv. Great. If it's more convenient for you, you might actually put it in the chat and we can transfer it there directly. Okay, Kazakhstan. We have with us Igor from Almaty. Okay. Okay, we have people from Germany with us. Great. From Belarus as well. Okay, we have different Ukrainian cities presented. Kutaisi, Georgian city. Please don't forget to write your name and organization when you'll do it. So we have Oksana from Bishkek. Super great.
Видим в чате, я сейчас перенесу.
Okay, I'll bring something from the chat. Maybe if it's really difficult with the map, we can actually help you. If you just write it in the chat, your name, organization, and your city or country, meaning the location, it would be easy for us to do it. So just put it in the chat and we'll do it. Don't worry. Okay, Yelena. Yeah, put it in the chat, please. We will definitely help you with this.
Из Бельгии. У нас участников из Беларуси.
Okay, here we have people from Belarus. Great. We even add Kutaisi again. Okay. Super great. Yeah, I think we can see how many we do have. We can now get the whole scope.
Из Москвы. Георгий.
So we have Georgi from Moscow.
Зеленая Грузия из Тбилиси.
Okay, Georgia, Tbilisi we have. Great.
Григорий из
Grigori from Aksu. Елена from Aksu as well. Great.
Девочки, вас не слышно, но для вас нельзя ничего сделать.
Okay, ladies, I can hear you, but I can't do anything.
Видите карту?
Do you see the map?
Я вижу, но не могу.
Хорошо, давайте сейчас отправлю.
Okay, okay.
Нет, Ашхабад. Это Ашхабад. Можете поставить.
This is Ashgabat.
Вы можете
Okay.
посмотреть эту карту, пришлите
You
ко
can
мне.
actually.
Вижу, и вас прекрасно вижу, но не могу поставить это.
Всё,
Well, I can't
я
put it,
дальше
but I
буду.
see you. Yes, just put it in the chat.
Это уже не мое. Я чат, нет чата, это Ашхабад.
Хорошо, спасибо, Давлет.
Okay, we'll do it. Even if you don't have a chat, we'll still help you.
Очень приятно видеть такую прекрасную карту, которая
It's wonderful to see that great map actually presenting the whole network within our event. So we have Dushanbe, Uzbekistan, Karshi, thank you.
Спасибо.
Thank you.
Вы можете продолжить добавлять у нас.
You can continue adding yourself. The key idea for this map is actually to get it as a result of our meeting and to show us
Если и мы
the scale. So we'll actually bring the whole information that you've put there.
Вы можете всегда проверять это на той же ссылке, которую я высылала. И тогда я передам слово Лене и нашему спикеру Георгию Сафонову.
Спасибо большое.
Okay, thank you so much. And it's really great that we have so many people presented here, and it's really, we can just imagine how much expertise and how much knowledge we do have here, how many people we have who actually try to fight the climate change and save the world and the biodiversity. So we want you not just to listen to us, we want you to be interactive, to listen to you primarily. So we'll start with this overview, let's say. We'll start with this overview or the introductory overview of the climate policy of the region of Eastern Europe, Caucasus and Central Asia, and the run-up to COP26. You can comment, you can actually put your comments. So Georgi Safonov is our expert, is our first expert. So PhD in economics, Higher School of Economics of the Russian Federation. And for quite a long time, he's been working with the climate change issues. He'll tell us a little bit about it, and we'll talk about the economic impact of Green Deal as well, and other global trends on the EECCA region. And we'll talk about how what the environment is in the region, what is the climate policy, can we generalize it or not, and what to do with all that. So, Georgi, are you with us? Yes, I am. So, dear colleagues, thank you. It's really nice to see so many wonderful people here, and even people I know, people who are familiar. And it's really great that we have this interactive map. And right now we can see that our big region is presented diversely, the EECCA region. So I'll show you a couple of slides right now. Give me a second for technical preparation, okay? Okay, I do hope that you can get my slides well. Okay, so you do see it. Unfortunately, we can see a little bit different. Okay, yes, I knew I'm gonna have some problems. I need to switch off the second screen. Okay, once more. Yes, it's definitely better. Great, great. So colleagues, today we do discuss this really important topic, huge topic, involving all of us in our countries and our people and our governments and businesses and the whole planet. So we'll have to tackle this complicated issue, but briefly. Today, I don't have a lot of time, but I do hope that many of you already do know what the issue is. You have that deep knowledge. So I'll just put some additional lines to the current portrait or portfolio. Let's not talk long about the global warming. We do have it. We have the CO2 concentration growing together with other greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. The level is growing, and this is unprecedented growth, very fast growth of concentration of these gases. It has never been before. We've never observed it. According to the data that we have for the last 400,000 years, maybe a couple of millions, it's the first and the first wave ever that we have of warming. And this is the reason mostly for the climate change, climatic parameters change, and the average annual temperature at the Earth's surface is growing, so we can see it. 1.1 degrees, this is the temperature growth. So unevenly it is distributed, the temperature growth around the planet, and in particular in our Eurasian continent, the temperature growth is actually stronger, and it's faster comparing to other parts of the planet. For EECCA, we have this violet color, which is really, really, really dangerous. It's really a threatening thing. And EECCA region actually faces this accelerated growth. Within the last 20 years, the temperature was growing from 0.8 to 2.5 degrees Celsius. And elsewhere, these indicators, even within a decade, like in Russian Arctic territories. And of course, it means that ecosystems, infrastructure, and even people, they can't adapt to these really rapid changes. And for us, it's important to take into account not just the such parameter as temperature, but also the precipitation change. And you can see how it's changing. So it's really, really important for our countries, because elsewhere we have more precipitation, elsewhere less. Within the last approximately 60, 70 years, what we notice, significant decrease of precipitation level in southern European regions, in Caucasus and Central Asia, in many Russian regions as well, and even in European Russia. So the increase of precipitation level we have in northern regions, even in separate countries, where in southern parts they have decreased precipitation. So what it leads to, multiple impacts, and each country has its long list of threats and risks, which today are on the agenda, and I'll tell about it later. So unfortunately, the forecasts are really, really turbulent and are horrible. We don't have any kind of positive forecast. The left one is actually like quasi-positive, but it's not positive. When we try to understand what the temperature rise will be up to the end of the century in these regions, if we do nothing, look, the right one, this is our future, this is what's waiting for us, and we're moving to that, not a left, but to the right. So you can see this horrible red zone, and we can even see the manifestations of that really sad forecast. So we speak about, yes, forecast for the precipitation level change. Left one is more or less optimistic, but still not positive. And the right one is the precipitation level change. You can see that in the south of European part, we may even expect really a lot of problems like droughts, very, very minimized precipitation level, and really horrible forecasts for those territories which traditionally are agricultural. And for other regions and parts of countries like Siberia and far east of Russia, horrible forecasts for extra precipitation, like flooding. A lot of flooding is expected, and other dangerous meteorological events. So, of course, a lot of countries we do have in the region, and instead of providing you with a detailed analysis for each of the countries, please, I'd like to draw attention to this publication that we actually managed to publish all together with the support of Friedrich Ebert Foundation. And this is a review or a summary, let's say, of analysis on all the countries of EECCA, of all the countries of our region, but with one important focus on climate change impact on social issues, on communities, on society. So I'd like to comment a little bit upon the results, because it's really, it causes a lot of anxiety. And I think I'm the only person in the world who actually read a lot of national reports, climate reports of all the countries of our big region. I'm the only one who actually managed to. I spent a lot of time and efforts, but I do now know that I got some value and certain uniqueness there is. But what are the threats? And what is the damage that we had from government's notifications and the reports? Of course, infrastructure destruction. because of flooding, because of some disasters, natural disasters related to climate change. Of course, the food safety. So many countries do know that this is an important problem, food safety. Also, the drinking water, clear, high quality drinking water, even there where we have a lot of water, so the infrastructure destruction, we speak about sanitary and hygienic requirements and the drainage infrastructure. If it's destroyed, it means that we'll get no safe water at all. Enough of it. And of course, problems with electric energy supply and the destruction of energy systems and malfunctions. And of course, the need to use conditioners by many people if we have these heat waves, when we have high temperatures outside, like we had it in 2010 in European part of Russia and in many other neighboring countries. When we faced this really prolonged, a couple of weeks, we had a huge heat above 40 degrees Celsius, and it's multiplied, of course, by the environmental effect from air pollution, fires, forest fires, and of course, the transport emissions and stationary source emissions like electric energy stations, these photochemical reactions that we had at that period in summer 2010. This was an important factor that affected the health of people. 54,000 people died, unfortunately, due to that in that July and first half of August. So I don't know if we have other assessment, other evaluations in other countries, but this is really tragic. Maybe today, well, today we have COVID. It doesn't seem that much, but it's really horrible. So health, risks for human health. This is a very important issue that we need to think about, that we need to remember about. And this is really a social problem. It's for the local communities. This is quite a big issue. Many mountainous regions like Caucasus, they mention in their reports, these countries mention in their reports that they have problems with landslides, a lot of these, and avalanches. It actually destroy the infrastructure, including road infrastructure, so you simply cannot get out of that dangerous region if you are in a trouble. And this is more tied to community, and it's more about the rural part of the country and small villages, which can suffer in towns as well, and other problems there are. But I just want to draw your attention to the following: how climate related problems are perceived according to these documents by the governments. I mean, what they think of it. So here we have a lot of questions. I do understand that, yes, our research, we had it like 2 years ago. Maybe it's a little bit obsolete. Maybe we have some fresh ideas, but I was so surprised that in some countries, look, the green tractors are there on the map. These are the governments of the countries who really think that everything is fine, that we have the yields, that agriculture gets a lot of profit, and that they consider this positive change to be eternal. So some countries like Hungary, they say, yes, we understand that this is a temporary effect for us. This is definitely a plus, but we understand that in long-term perspective, we'll have more risks. Like Belarusian government does not give any negative issues or any negative ideas. They give only positive information. So you can see that for different countries and regions, what is more acute? What issues are more acute? Various things actually are troubling. And there are some concerns that these big risks, huge risks, these are seen in the documents anyway published by the government. Of course, we just need to note here that not all problems are relevant for a separate country, which can be taken as important ones. So this is a whole package, a list of various perceptions. Some do think, everybody thinks that global warming is happening, but in Slovenia and Tajikistan, it's not quite an acute problem. It's not a matter of concern, let's say, but it's really visible So they expect the global warming even to deepen, but the precipitation level change is perceived differently. Food safety also is perceived differently. So we have a very diverse picture of opinions, impressions, and basically there is no understanding of what to do with. Some things are not even seen by the governments. Some issues are just invisible for them, and they think that, okay, we don't have these problems. The other problem that we have, it's related to the fact that there is no clear strategy, a clear strategy which would be a socially oriented one. I couldn't find it practically anywhere. So all these reports, all these messages are built. It's more about economic impact. It's more about impact on infrastructure, physical impact, but it's not about people. The strategies, they're not about people. They say nothing of people. And this is really sad. So I'll give you just, these are excerpts from the comments that I formulated.
Comments that I have accumulated by analyzing reports from various countries. And I have to say that some of the countries, they highlight the importance of the health issues and impacts of the climate changes. For example, in Uzbekistan, yes, they say that there are problems and risks, but there is nothing behind that. There is nothing more than that. They don't propose any specific steps what to do. There is no qualitative and quantitative analysis, for example. Yes, they speak about the problem, but they say nothing about what to do about it. And almost always there is a lack of the social side of the issue. Also, I'd like to share some of the expectations and some of the expectations about the Glasgow conference, which will take place on the 1st of November. This conference is of crucial importance because we expect the whole range of important decisions, and we expect to get a new mechanisms on fighting climate changes. So this should be an important step that would help countries to get together and join the efforts. So the Paris Agreement foresees three main goals. The first is to stay away from the rise of the global temperature higher than 1.5 or 2 degrees Celsius. The second goal is wide-scale measures in terms of climate change, adopting the climate changes. But many countries, including the Russian Federation, do nothing. They have adopted NDCs, but they do nothing about it. There are no national plans. For example, this year there should have been adopted national strategies. I haven't seen even one. And next year, the regions of the Russian Federation have to present their regional plans. And I know for sure that none of these regions have started their work. And the third goal, which we see, is redirection of the financial flows away from the fossil fuels towards a hydrogen economy. And this is very important. This point was very important, and we can see that there are some specific steps. We can see how this third goal is working together with other political goals. And what is relevant to our region, to our countries, and to our enterprises that are very much EU expert oriented. So we see that the EU adopts a climate neutrality goal 2050, a key goal, but it is the end goal up to 2050, and we need to have milestones. We need to have midterm goals that are very important. It is 2030, And this midterm goal will be important in terms of rearranging of the EU economy. The Great Britain wants to minimize up to 100% of its emissions. And it is a very ambitious goal that suggests that the country will strive to have negative emissions, meaning that consumption has to be higher than production. Japan, South Korea, Canada have announced the same goal for up to 2050. China had announced the same goal up to 2060. These are very ambitious goals and very loud announcements, very often not politically, without any political foundation. Also, the states have announced the Biden's plan on the revolution of the clean energy. So many other countries. In the chat, we can see that Ukraine and Kazakhstan have announced their goals up to 2060. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yes, if I'm not mistaken, I was saying that Kazakhstan and China, they announced their goals up to 2060, but also Ukraine. This is great. What sensitive aspects could we see here? The Green Deal of the EU is a huge package of documents that has a lot of important decisions. Some of them have been already adopted, including biodiversity, blue economy, and what is very important, the Transcarbon regulatory mechanism that many of our enterprises pay attention to, because it suggests the risk of carbon tax for cement, electric power, and other industries. This list is very long. And another campaign that is not included into Transcarbon mechanism is the following fact, that the price for carbon resources, the price will influence a lot. For example, the price for the coal, the price for the gas, and the price on the EU market is already higher than $60.2 per 1 ton of CO2, and this price is going to increase even higher. So 1 ton of steel produced in CIS country has the carbon footprint of 8 tons of carbon emissions. So if we would pay the carbon tax, just calculate 60 per 8 tons of carbon emissions is 540, while the price for steel, the market price, is $200. It means that the tax alone is twice higher than the price of the project itself. It means that these steel producers will be not welcomed on the market. No one would need them. So the price is introduced gradually on this market. That's why there is no huge crisis now, but enterprises, they are already getting nervous. Also, the natural print of the exports is very strong. For example, the Russian export into the EU is over 1 billion of carbon emissions. This is embodied tax, and imagine when there is a new tax introduced, the export system has to be completely changed. Also, other countries suggest, also other countries say that they are going to implement similar systems, similar to the EU system. Other countries like Japan, Korea, China, Canada, the States, they speak about this carbon footprint. So this is a very high threat, which means that the economical model has to be changed. Another important process that we observe over the last 5 years, and this process is growing more and more, is divestments, extracting investments from dirty, polluting projects. It is well known that international financial institutions have stopped all their investments into the oil and coal industries. Norwegian pension fund with the actives of above $1 trillion shifts its assets towards ecological projects. The same happened with Ukraine. And you can see that some of, let's say, Russian companies, they are suffering from this. Norwegian pension fund has extracted its investments from the Russian oil and gas company, and also the national Russian railway company has suffered from the lack of financement because this railway company transports coal. So many investors extract their investments from these polluting industries and companies. So we can see how the third goal of the Paris Agreement is being implemented. They are redirecting the financial flows away from polluting industries. And also, we see that over 20% of polluting industries all over the globe are being covered by these taxation systems. Since the price is still quite low in many countries, the effect is not very visible. For example, in Mexico and Kazakhstan, the price the cost of one CO2 ton is $1, so the result is very low. While in California, this tax is $18 per 1 ton of CO2, and in Sweden, the tax is much higher. It is $139 per 1 ton of CO2 emissions. There are many other examples and cases. For example, one of the cases that is quite interesting is the case of refusing coal production in European countries. And the refusal of using the engines that produce high amounts of emissions is very important. We can see that the European countries, they adopted such systems. So we say that, yeah, okay, so many countries, they refuse the usage of coal, and then we think maybe they are going to use to shift towards gas because the renewables are not developed well. But no, we can see the database on decarbonization of the EECCA scenarios, and here you can see different scenarios of decarbonization, and the most strict scenario for the EU shows the decrease of gas consumption in the European countries under the case where the green economy would be fostered. And the gas consumption will be decreased because is going to be decreased because the European countries, they don't want to buy gas from Russia, and they are looking for more sustainable systems. So what do we have to do? We need strategies and plans, action plans of shifting towards green and carbon-free economy with long horizons for 30 and 50 years, we need to have very precise priorities, how to regulate, how to introduce new carbon-free systems. We need systems of indicators for the green development. For example, now I'm a member of the group work that produces the green plan for Uzbekistan. Bulat Kesekin is also here. Yeah, he's commenting a lot on what you are saying. Yeah, good day, Bulat. And what is happening now in Kazakhstan, or what is actually not happening in Kazakhstan, is discussed a lot by our group. What we have to do, all of this shows that we, ecologists, scientific organizations, non-governmental organizations, we have to take important part here. We have to take the lead. We have to push the governments. The mechanisms of strategy implementations, including market instruments, including engagement of the SMEs, because companies attract investors, and they use investment money much more efficiently than the state money. So at the moment, we are in such a place, at such a point where we have to be very firm, because it is the health of the society that is at stakes. ESG reporting, green approaches towards business, green standards, implementation of the ecological best practices, business practices. All of this is very important. Business began implementing ESG. Business began to think about ESG. EECCA countries have very high potential, not only natural and technological potential, but also human potential. High quality specialists are those people who are capable of solving all of these issues of such a serious rank, issues that deal with this important transition for our countries. It just seems to be so complicated, but those calculations that we were making, those calculations where I was the part of making them, suggest that improvement of the environment bring sustainability and better economy in the long term for the country. It is not a burden. It is not a difficult thing to do. All of those who say that this is something heavy, we don't want to do that, we don't want to be a part of this very cumbersome transition, they are mistaken. We have to support them. We have to show them that it is important. Yeah, thank you so much, Georgie, for such a substantive presentation. We have a lot of questions in the chat. There was a very active discussion, and mostly people were speaking about their countries in DCs, and they were suggesting the timelines that their country adopted, like up to 2030 or 2050 or 60, and also there were discussions about positions of different organizations, networks, and countries. And here I mean the green neutrality, the green renovation, green economy. Please, could you tell us what do you think about this positions of the countries, whether they are ambitious enough and how they should be implemented? This is a very, very difficult question. And with the Russian Social and Ecological Union, we have finalized our preparation for Glasgow conference, and now we do our best in order to prepare even better, so that during Glasgow conference they could hear our position. I think it is difficult. Sometimes we have to look for indirect approaches. For example, just recently I have discovered the following. In the Russian All-National Institute for the transition towards the greener economy is a huge fake. But the regional institutes, they do work, and a lot we could do through this national chambers. I think we have to look for such channels. We have to look for such channels, direct and indirect, in our countries, because quite often they are not able to understand what we want because their capacity is quite low.
So we can actually give a call to make certain decisions, like the carbon price, high carbon price, which is offered. So it changes the business attitude and activity, because quite often in the government, business is pushing government to certain decisions quite often, and it's important to understand what actually we do all talk about, because unfortunately in some of the countries in Central Asia, I do feel that this problem is really visible. So we need to develop capacity, and it has perspectives. We have the plans on investing in potential strengthening. Thank you. In one of on the regional opinions and regional positions will be presented by the NGOs. So the one presented by the network as well. And it would really be good to talk on how to make it more visible and successful, this position to work for the countries and for the region. So we have another question from Yulia. I will try to find it. So how do you think, just to continue with our conversation, what impacts the climatic ambitions increase in the region, in the countries? So what should we draw attention to, maybe? So a very good question. Thank you. Maybe I've been working with that for quite a long time, and since 1999, almost at each conference I've been as part of the delegation, not just Russian, but also Kazakhstan delegation, and the pre-COP in Paris. And I maybe do have a little bit of pessimistic opinion, but realistic in some ways. So it's really hard to convince using moral ethical arguments for our government. They don't understand. They never accept it. Maybe it simply cannot be even understood or realized by them. But if we speak about money and economic risks and business risks, yes, somehow that works. And this standby mode in the activity of Russian government and business by summer 2021, like, okay, no big risks, they think. Why should we actually be nervous? But we actually have the threat. Since 2023, we're about to present the European Transborder Carbon Regulation, and it's changed the whole picture. Right now, we have this boom, this outburst. The business is looking for projects, forest projects and green energy projects. Everybody wants to prepare for this turbulent moment, to prepare, to secure themselves, to find projects. And only this tool, if we have risk for business, it works. For the previous 20 years, we've been discussing and we've been trying to convince. Somehow we didn't have that impact. Maybe it's the same thing with our partners in other countries as well. Thank you, Georgi. And the time's out. Bulat Yesekin is raising his hand, but be very compact, okay? Be brief. Thank you. So, good afternoon. What I just want to say, what Georgi mentioned, I just want to focus your attention that the key obstacles, what are the key obstacles? Not just lack of understanding of the importance of climate-related programs. Here, the role is more of the brown business impact. We speak about oil and coal business. These businesses simply don't want to change the approaches, the current approaches and policies. And taking into account the Kazakhstan commitments, and we did not raise the level of commitments from 15%, and we adopted the neutrality goal by 2060, they simply place the responsibility of the current government and business on the shoulders of those who will be there in 10 or 20 years. So they don't take it seriously. And the decisions which are made clearly tell us that 10, 15, 20 years to for coal burning and for oil extraction. So it works for them more. That approach is better. That's why they make this decision. So right now we have, due to this really long-term 20 or 50 years, they will actually accept some commitments. But within the first 10 years, they're not going to do anything actually. So we need to demand. We need to demand to have it year by year, to control these commitments, to have it stage by stage, not just like, oh, by 2030, nothing, by 2040, something will start moving, and then they'll say nothing went okay, we didn't make it. They really hope that they will continue their business, continue extracting oil and getting coal. It's a huge term, and it's of course a great revenues for the business. Yes, thank you, Bulat. Yes, we really would like to get deep into discussion, but Georgi said that this is a very complicated issue. We've been working with it for so many years, and we do continue. Unfortunately, I have to finish this, let's say, political part. Scaling political part, let's say, and we'll continue the discussion in future, but in other blocks. And we have a question to you, Teona. Please, thank you, Elena. As Elena already mentioned, we prepared a question to you, and for that, you again can use the QR code that we will put on the screen. You can see it in the presentation, or actually use the link I'll send you, and this is the question. We somehow want to evaluate what happened in 2021 because we're almost in the end of 2021. I still think that it's like, for me, it's 2020, but again, if we can evaluate what happened and with the help of Menti, please, which of the results of the climate policy of your country you would like to underline in 2021? So something you would like to focus on, one thing, one of the results of the national climate policies of your country, like the very first sentence that pops up in your head, something from the national. Okay, we have Germany, like court forces government to raise ambition of climate law in Germany, NDC. Okay, maybe NDC to be a little bit like clarified. Okay, climate neutrality by 2060, Ukraine, just the adoption of new environmental code. Environmental code is Kazakhstan, then you need to mention your country because not in all countries we do have these codes. So now in Ukraine, they finally stipulate the actual decrease of emissions, just a couple of %. updating the NDC, a refusal from adaptation, they don't understand its benefits, designing program of coal region transformation, actualize NDC with more ambitious goals again, Ukraine. Okay. Full ignorance and empty promises, adopting your environmental code. This is Kazakhstan. Yes. We have drought in Mangistau and also the cattle deaths in Kazakhstan. Within 4 years, Ministry of Agriculture of Belarus adopted its sectoral strategy of adaptation designed in 2017. Okay, we have again the second NDC of Belarus. Ukrainian president will go to COP26. This is an achievement. Well, that is. Okay, something to work with. Well, we have the results, but still a lot of work with. I just realized nobody heard me. Okay. Okay, the adoption of more ambitious NDC by Belarus, and Georgia government accepted new NDC, not ambitious from our point of view. Climate agenda stepped back on due to political crisis. Okay, thank you. Thank you. We have a lot of results, and I think this is really very interesting, and we'll save your answers. If you have any questions, please, you can actually refer to participants from specific countries, and then I'll pass the floor to our next presenters, Yelena and Olga. Thank you so much. Thank you. And right now we come to the part where we'll talk more about our climate network, what actually it's doing and how it works with the challenges, with some problematic issues. Even in the results, you know, we have this but thing. Not for the first time, the climate network in the region is trying to tackle it. So I'd like to pass the floor to Olga, the coordinator. Please, do you need to share the screen or you'll do it on your own? Yeah, please just share the screen. So hello, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. And my key role here today is to remind you or to tell you, if you don't know still, of what the NGO Climate Action Network in EECCA, Eastern Europe, Caucasus and Central Asia, and what we're doing and what strategic goals we're trying to achieve. Basically, to get some feedback from you as well, I'd love to, are you related to the network, to see how many members of it we have, and those people who after this event maybe will be interested and become our partners, and we would really love that to happen. So I'll start with a question, please. Okay. Are you connected to CAN EECCA? Okay, share the link, please, in the chat. Put it in the chat, and the question is really, really simple. If something doesn't work or your internet is slow, you can actually use the chat. So, one question. Are you connected with EECC network? Are you a member, a partner, or are you just getting familiarized with it? And I don't give the details on the network just to understand how many people we have here who are just getting closer to us, approaching us. Okay, we have partners and members. Okay. We have people who are still not cooperating with us, many of them. It's really nice having you here with us. Great. Good. Super great. Now, what I am going to tell will be really relevant because many of these people still don't approach us. Okay, we don't have so many people here, 14 people only. Maybe we'll wait. But basically, I can see that we have a request. We just need to approach each other. Not much time I have. Let's go directly to the presentation of the network. So I'll start with my presentation of myself. I'm Olha Boyko, I'm from Ukraine, and a little bit more than 2 years I've been coordinating this network. It doesn't exist just in our region, it's a part of a bigger international network, and it unites associations, unions, and NGOs working with climate change issues. And in our region, it was established in 2008. So we actually have already more than 1.5 thousand of NGOs all around the world. We have 59 membership organizations, soon we'll have 60. And the countries, you can see them there on the slide. Basically all those countries which were mentioned by you on the map in the beginning. So please, let's continue. I'd like to say what vision we defined for 2021, what mission, let's say, is that we work for the civic society of the region to be strong, to be organized, for our countries to implement the policy leading to climate neutrality and green economy. And between these two processes, we actually had this approval and reconciliation on the basis of climate justice and fairness. So the strategic directions of network activity. You'll get the presentation with a vision that we formulated this year. A little bit more of information there is about our values. Again, you'll read it. You may read it later and understand who we are. So I just want to finish with the following. We work on 4 key directions in 4 key areas. It's important to understand with which issues you can refer to us and what is beyond our attention. So climate policy. This was the key idea for the network rotating around. So coordinating the UN negotiation and promoting more ambitious goals, then strengthening the civic society capacity, everything related to mobilization, so promoting the opinions, so civic opinions, also internationally at international level, because we are an international network and we can actually go even beyond the region. So we are just a linking part, and also creating a platform like this one that we are at. So to transfer the knowledge, quite often there is a problem with access to information, challenges that people simply don't know whom to ask, where to go, what experts are in the country. And these climate dialogues partially cover the need, partially fill the niche. And I do hope that comparing to a situation we had a half year ago, right now you understand better who works in which country, what trends are there, what interactions impact. This is one of our key network roles, actually, networking. And the last one, communication and everything related to media connection. Quite often you don't have information or it's twisted, deteriorated, so we spend a lot of time to promote our communication platforms. For 4 years, we've been creating this climatic digest, news digest each Monday. It actually is published, and I guess this is one of the most interesting communication tools in Russian about climate and energy, world news and regional news, everything I know. So please subscribe. In the very end, I'll give you some contacts. I think I'll stop at it right now, and then we'll talk in details about climate dialogues, okay? So Yulia Pashkovskaya, coordinator of the Climate Dialogues 2021 and campaigner, please. The floor is yours, Yulia. Hello, everyone. I'll tell you a little bit about climate dialogues. So about the working groups, about the format of 2021, because the first dialogues we had in 2020, and these were two great big conferences. And then we had this idea, the organizers had an idea, they can easily say, the Friedrich Ebert Foundation, GMG, they wanted to create this working group format because we had the pandemic, of course, and we still have it. And of course, because people right now can't meet each other and we have to work all together anyway. The climate policy is still there, and climate crisis is still there, unfortunately. That's why we decided to create these 6 working groups. So such groups as renewable energy, climate policy, actually, so cities and mobility, biodiversity and adaptation, a just transition, and education and communication. So we have today more than 200 participants in groups.
Around 220 participants in 6 work groups from 18 countries of the world, and in general these are countries of the Eastern Europe, Central Caucasus and Asia, but also there are representatives of the other groups. We can't hear Julie, unfortunately. Connection has lost. It is very common. The internet is like this, so let's wait just a second. I will write her. Maybe you, Oля, could add something because you are working together with Yulia. I don't know what was the next word that Yulia wanted to say before the connection got lost, but she mentioned that there were 6 work groups, and the main idea was as follows. Instead of having a Zoom conferences and instead of having group works that we have during the conferences, we decided to have well-prepared group works. And now you are in the conference where you have the work groups that have been worked like with people who have been working together for 6 months, and they were able to work together and to create products that would be necessary. And these products included webinars, reviews, positions, and other materials. So the one portion of the results of the outcomes of this group work you will be able to learn today, and the other part will be shared later with you. Hi, Julia. Yeah, I just shared the group work. Yes, I'm sorry, there was a problem with my internet connection. And you see, this is the greatest advantage of the group, of the teamwork, and of such a climate dialogues, is that you always have a person next to you to back you up and to support you when your internet connection is interrupted. Yeah, we did a lot of together. For example, we had meetings during summertime where people enjoyed their vacations. For example, we had a Green Deal webinar, and there were around 80 participants and more than 100 registrations. Also, there was a climate dialogue on the just transition, which is the top subject for our region, and we discussed it. And today we're presenting some of the outcomes of the group work, specifically of the 3 groups on the climate policy, on the renewables, and on the just transition. And a small announcement. Well, I meant that we are going to have overviews of the outcomes of the group works. For example, Ola will represent this review. But besides that, I wanted to say that later you will be able to learn much more, because at the moment we are finalizing and translating these reviews and we will publish them online. Also, we'll have a presentation of these reviews. By the end of November, we are going to have 3 webinars on the very exciting topics that our work groups have been working on. I will be distributing invitation to all of you. And also, if you are not a member of a group that you would like to join to, please join this group. You are always invited and welcome to. We have monthly calls, phone calls, or online calls within our groups where we discuss monthly news, and you are very much welcome to propose a topic for a webinar. Maybe you could be a speaker for one of those webinars. This is our network, this is our platform, and we have to use it because we would like to be the voice of the climate policy of the region. We want to be a strong and beautiful voice that would be speaking on behalf of the region, addressing all other regions, and helping everyone in this way. Thank you very much, Julia. I think this is the time where we should start with presenting the results of our group work. The first presenter will be Olga Boyko, the EECCA coordinator. And I'd like to ask you, if you're going to have more questions, please drop them into our chat. And by the end of our meeting, we're going to have a Q&A session where we'll be addressing all of those questions in the chat. So this is where I'm passing the floor to Olga. Thank you. Yeah, so hi again. It's me talking again. We did a lot of things throughout this time, and if you have any questions, please drop them to the chat, because just as you know, we're all limited in time, we're all online, we have to work, we have to do a lot. So I'll try to be very brief. So the group where I have been working for the 6 months is the group of the climate dialects. We were 45 people from 10 countries. I have been a member of this group, and the speaker of the group is Cholpon Aytaykhunova from Kyrgyzstan. At the moment, we have 45 people, 45 experts from 10 countries. Throughout the year, many people joined us, and these are people who are interested in the climate policy, and they are working with us. And at the moment, we have 2 outcomes that are at their final stages. The first result, the first outcome I will present now, and the second one you will see quite soon. It will be an informational campaign that will be published throughout our channels, online platforms, and maybe on Monday you'll be able to see the result of this work. But let me share how it went. First, I have 2 questions to you once again, because we want to understand where we are in our countries. We want to see whether there is an interest from the government, what to do. With Georgia, we already discussed it a lot, that we as the civil society, we understand that we have to do something. We have to press upon the government. Regardless the fact that our countries have a lot of political challenges, and there is no even one country among our region, within our region, that would be called a strong and stable country in terms of its political situation. But we would still want to ask you the following question. Please, could you measure by the scale from 1 to 10 on how much your government is interested in development of the climate policy? So this is your personal opinion. Are there people in the government who know what to do, who understand the importance? I see we already have. The first answer is 1, the second answer is 2. Okay. Okay, I see that the more people, the majority of people, they said that from 1 to 10 it would be 2. And also in the chat, you could write to us who wrote number 7. Guljan, we could see. Okay, I understood that it was you, Guljan, from Kyrgyzstan. Well, I'm not going to argue, because very interesting things are happening in Kyrgyzstan at the moment. I have made a paper based on consultations with the civil society, and the outcomes are very, very exciting. A lot of youth is interested. Okay, thank you very much. We see that quite many people have voted, and thank you. This was a reality check test. And in fact, the picture is very interesting. You see how difficult it is for us to work when the other part of the negotiation table is thinking of completely different things. And it would be nice to change something here. Okay, then the second question. Let's ask a question about the inhabitants of the country. Let's ask a question about people who live in the country, like our friends and families. So the second question to you is, please, on the scale from 1 to 10, evaluate how much, according to your own opinion, people are aware about the need of fighting the climate crisis, about the need of adopting systematic approaches. Yeah, you can stay here by the same link. Okay, 5, 3, 4, a bit better. We see different replies. Okay, it could be better. And I would like to ask the third question, and in general, it would be really nice to have a live conversation, not only me talking here as a lecturer. But the third question, if I could ask you, and since I can't hear all of your answers, why do you think that people are much more worried about the climate situation than the public institutions? And unfortunately, I can't hear your replies, but I think that maybe this is due to civil societies that understand the situation, promote and raise awareness. And I would like to share the information about our informational campaign. We don't have a slide dedicated to it yet, but I will share with you orally. So this informational campaign will be announced very soon, will be published very soon. The main idea of this campaign is about raising awareness and about making people understand the key terms that we are as experts are very much aware of, while people are less aware of. So we are going to make short messages that would explain and open up these terms so that people could understand what is this climate crisis is about and which climate policies should be in place. And the second point is about the regional position of the EECCA network. And this regional position is being developed together with the climate dialogues. So the uniqueness of this regional position is that it has been a result of the wider circle of people working together. And the second point why it is so unique is that this is systematic preparation of the whole region to COP26, because we already had separate positions from different countries up to COP26, but it has never been previously made that the whole region prepared its regional position, because we wouldn't be able to promote these goals. But our position this year is aimed at international community in order to raise the curtain and explain what is the position of the society, what the society is expecting in this region, and what is the position of the society. So it will be very much, it would be ready very soon, and you can share it once it's ready. The first unit, or the first part of this regional position, includes something similar to NCDs that uncover the real situation. This is a truly ambitious national indicator. So this could serve as a foundation for the new NCDs, because many countries have their NCDs outdated. We have mentioned that many countries have announced their goals up to 2030, up to 2060, or to 2050, and we would like to see the specific strategies that would outline the plan for achieving these ambitious goals. There also will be other parts. And the second point here is the financial mechanism of emissions regulations. And here we have carbon tax that is applied in Ukraine only as of today. And this is one of the mechanisms that would help to stop a lot of damages that Georgi has been mentioning about. The tax has to be very high, has to be competitive, or the development of our countries will be endangered. Also in this part, we will see finances and our address to the international community, where we will discuss the financing of the loss and damage that would be as a result of this shifting. So we have a lot of developing countries and countries that are very vulnerable towards the climate change, and these countries that they are not very well presented in the climate in the climate conferences or climate events, and they do not understand very well how the climate change might impact them, which losses and damages they might suffer. And the third part here is about taking on board the civil society. Listening to the civil society. This is where we try to do our best. We don't have to be alone in this process. The countries and the regions, they have to understand as quickly as possible that the society is not an enemy that tries to stop and slow down the work, but this is a huge resource of the energy, of the effort, and specifically younger people are very much eager to work now. This is where the third part of our position will speak about the mechanisms of engaging the civil society and the social aspects that have to be the part of any climate policy, including the just transition, because when the country redirects its economy towards the green society, towards the green economy, we understand that when they refuse using the coal, there are many people who could suffer from losing their jobs. That is where there should be just transformation programs. All of this will be included into the third part.
This is how we want to create this joint regional opinion. Thank you for those who join us and the members of the network. Also, very quickly, what CAN is doing at COP. If you go to a conference, so where will you find us? And why do you need to do this? So every day, CAN Network International One is coordinating, exchanging news on how the negotiations are taking place, what's there. And every day we have a bulletin open for everyone, on the online bulletin. And annually it's published called ECO in English, ECO. So in English, something interesting, something usually it's related to the negotiations. Almost every day we have these reviews, side events again, and in general our role during this conference of parties is to present the civic society, promote your ideas, promote regional ideas and opinions, help you to meet with delegations, in general to be the voice of the society as loud as we can. This is the role of our network in the region, international CAN network in any region of the world. And I do hope that here we'll find something common. So please be careful with the updates. Keep your fingers on the pulse. It's really great. It'll be really great if you do use our support in your research and your activities. So thank you. I think the results from the first group are like that. So are there any questions? I saw in the chat that the governments of countries of Central Asia, do you have any questions to the first group? Like Bulat says, the text is reconciled. So I have a small question. What challenges did you have, especially related to inclusion of all the countries, engaging all the countries in this preparation of the opinion? Well, I'll tell you in general words. Concerning the challenge of the climate policy, what I see now, it's important to mention this trend. So many countries more closed, more with a stricter political regime. Many activists and NGOs become disappointed in cooperation with governments. They don't see any feedback, any efforts within many years, and they still continue doing that, but they start working at local level with local authorities. And this is an interesting trend, and we would like to study it a little bit more. Yes, it's not that simple. Elsewhere, we have the decentralization. Elsewhere, still local authorities don't have those levers and means to create an impact. I think this is still the future. This is what we're moving to. One of the challenges was when we tried to work only locally, what we faced, many experts and activists say that nothing will work nationally. We only work with communities. We work with local self-governance, and I'd really like to give this answer because it's a huge resource. It's a huge opportunity, and we would like to have locals more active year by year in our countries. Thank you. Thank you so much. Maybe some other questions or comments. We have 2 minutes before break, ladies and gentlemen. If not, yes, I think we do have a comment. Professor Muradov, Karshinsky Economic Institute. Wonderful presentations. I really would like to note that in Uzbekistan, we really have nice presidents usually, and recently our president has adopted a couple of decrees related to this problem. I think we need to enhance the knowledge to raise the awareness of our society, starting from kindergarten and up to the elderly level. We need to raise the awareness. Many people don't know even the basic theory and various these wonderful slides we had, the presentation. This should be there. We need to bring this to the broad circle of people and stop talking, but a lot is done in the world. Various technologies should be implemented, various types of equipment, various techniques and methods. Exchange your experience and tackle it together. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Our members work with the implementation of innovative technologies in Tajikistan. We have an organization that works primarily with that. So we have these members, and we do hope that our communication, if you do stick to the updates, you'll get some more information on what's happening. We can't tell you about everything. Physically, we can't because of limited time, but in certain format it does exist, and we have a group, educational group in the climate dialogues, where we have people working with schools, working together, ministries of education. Today, unfortunately, we will not have presentation about it, but this group exists. Thank you, Olga. Another question in the chat we have from Alexandra. Where can I actually train and what profession should I get to promote the awareness raising? In Kazakhstan, we have this German Kazakhstan University, and they have a lot of projects involving young people with academicians, and they engage youth and they promote these projects among young people. This is the first thing that just pops in my mind. A lot of things we have online initiatives as well. Well, there is no perfect profession which would help you. Methods. You should start handling methods. Doesn't matter who you are. What is your profession? Please. Informal education may engage people to that. We use, for example, various mechanisms of engagement, maps, interactive tools, and it really helps people to feel convenient and to absorb information. So the tools of informal education used in schools today and in trainings, please, informal education should be your flagship in this case, and universities with students' unions or associations that really may work. So if you talk about education, so you may become a highly specialized, skilled expert, and if you do want to pick something, you really want to. Okay, thank you. I think we can actually go to a break. We have 10 minutes sharp for a break. Yelena will turn on some nice music. If you do have questions, you may write it in the chat. Bulat shared a link, by the way. Yes, and we return in 10 minutes. So 3 minutes, 2, 1. Okay, let's have 1 p.m. sharp. Please, 1 p.m. sharp, please, or whatever time you have in your country, but in Kyiv it's 1 p.m. Thank you.
Oh, I guess that I've done my time, now I've laid to rest. There's a campfire inside my soul, and it billows. In the sky was 1,000 years old. Always kept time in my back pocket. No man goddamn came to take my soul. Shut the door, then lock it. And where have all of my friends gone? And where did all of my friends go? And where have all of my friends gone? They bellowed. Thought that I saw Jessie, she was sitting in a crowd. Thought that I saw Jessie, then I got to feeling proud to ever have known someone so pretty and so sweet, who every time she sang a song, it'd sweep me off my feet. But oh my, oh I guess that she did her time, now she's laid to rest. There's a campfire inside her soul, still billow. I walked to town, devil one side of me, held by an angel, put poems inside of me, down to my mouth, said won't you recite to me, okay. Every first Wednesday, there goes that sound again, sun's going down, and she's a sundowner, stay calm, and give me a poem, and I'll sing you a song. Young kids smoke cigarettes out on the avenue. Sun's going down, so you might as well have a few. Hey, who are you? Did you hear the news? Anthony's dead, and poor Richard too. They bellowed, and it makes me nervous. They whittled a fiddle from wood in our service. Now that it's dusk, kids scatter the avenues. Hey, who are you? I'm a sundowner too. Hey man, where'd you get your tan? Oh, I'd like to have some sunny in me. See, I like the sun, but I start to run the moment that the sun runs from me. I am a sundowner, so live and lean. I am a sundowner, don't let the sun run from me. Hey Ma, where do you find Pa? Oh, I'd like to have some company. See, I like a crowd, but I don't know how to keep one surrounding me. I am a sundowner, so live and lean. I am a sundowner, don't let the sun go down on me. Well, I went to the market, but the market was closed. Sign on the window said, the hours devour us. So I went to the river, and it said, come here, let me whisper in your ear. And it pulled me under. So I went to the Lord, but the Lord said, no, you're not welcome here anymore. So I went to the sky, but the sky was closed. Said I don't know where I'm gonna go. I am a wandering soul through the back of what I know. I am a sundowner. Please don't let the sun go down on me. Hey man, where'd you get your tan? Well, I'd like to have that sun in me. See, I like the sun, but I start to run the moment that the sun runs from me. I'm a sundowner, so live and lean. I am a sundowner, don't let the sun go down on
Если вы нас слышите, возвращайтесь, мы начинаем через минуту.
So dear friends, in a minute we're about to continue, please.
Ваш перерыв, успели перекусить? Или ответили на несколько
So
писем?
I do hope that you managed to answer a couple of letters, messages, or to get something nice to eat. Yeah, all letters. Nice. Good. Someone says that they managed to actually address all the letters. Wonderful.
Пожалуйста, можно отметить
So we have some reactions, emotions in the bottom. So even if your camera is off, you may put a smiley or something, a heart, or like, or whatever. So on the screen, it looks really nice. Okay, for us to know that everyone's back, not many people are back, but okay, we have something in the chat from you. Nice, nice. Many people are there. Good, 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 good. Great.
Алло.
Yeah, so we get your sound and video. So we continue.
Девочки, можно вопрос?
May I have a question? May I ask a question?
Это Давлет Туркменистан.
This is Davlet from Turkmenistan.
Георгием Сафроновым по Парижскому соглашению переговорить.
I'd like to talk to Georgi about the Paris Agreement because a lot of questions, a lot of issues which are not solved, and a lot to discuss. So Georgi is with us. I think that if Georgi doesn't mind, he can give an email or a contact. Yes, and
И сейчас это пока еще не все собрались, можно было бы ему сейчас через экран передать информацию.
okay, I think for us it's better to start, and you'll share personally. You have chat.
К сожалению, с компьютером не особо дружу. Хотел написать вопрос, но у меня на чате завис. У меня интернет не очень активен.
So my internet connection is not very well. I don't use computer that often. So try in the bottom right because we get your sound very well. So the internet is on. I tried to write a question, but it's not there. Okay, if we have you here, we have your email. We will send the contact data of Georgi to your email. If in the end you'll have a question answer session, maybe he'll tell it. Okay, great. Sure. I think we can continue and finally come to the next presentation of our working groups. And the next presentation is about by Angelina Lavrenyuk. She's the Vice President of European Association for Electromobility in Ukraine. And Angelina will tell us about, she will present the situation with renewables in the region, in the EECCA region, because she worked in the relevant renewable group. So Angelina, I'll pass the floor to you. You can actually present it. And once more, if you have questions, put it in the chat, please. In the end of each group, we'll have question answer session. Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's really nice to see you all. And I'll try to share my screen. So today I'll tell you about the results of our working group activity within the last year. Also, I'll tell you a little bit about the renewables, what we managed to do in such, with what countries we established cooperation and got some information on the current renewable issues. I'll tell you why we're doing this. So what was the purpose and how will we be able to use the results, what we plan to have in the future, how we plan to develop the potential of this review. So a little bit about the group. As we all know, the renewable energy in the region is still the energy sector depends on fossil fuels, and the main capacities have to be replaced within 10-15 years. So we offer renewables to ensure the energy efficiency policies implemented in the climate dialogues allow us to exchange the most relevant information, to exchange valuable experience, climate policies, and to get some new knowledge and share the news. So why we actually had this review presented, to see what the real situation in the region is with the most relevant data. Before we actually started doing this, we had the analytics. We analyzed the materials that we have fully accessible on renewables in the region. And we have two key areas. So this information is a little bit obsolete, like 2016, 2017, the freshest pieces, the freshest statistics on policies, or this is the information on 2 or 3 countries combined. And we decided to collect as many countries as we can in the review and to find out what the fresh statistics is. So when we evaluated the renewables development, we took 2020 as the baseline. Of course, this review also gives us an opportunity to understand how what is the share of the renewables in the energy structure in the energy portfolio in the region, and to assess the work done. So we do not just take the climatic goals in each of the countries or the carbon neutrality goals. And if these countries actually are doing something, reforming something, or establishing policies to achieve it. So, of course, what is the value of the report? Again, we managed to collect a lot of countries in one place, and it gives us an opportunity to have this comparative analysis to understand which countries in the region move faster to carbon neutrality and which are still a little bit behind. So, what the review is about. So basically the context, regional context, the context of future renewable development, the challenges we have in this area, also the analysis of data on renewable electric energy production in 2020, perspectives of renewables development, support mechanisms if these are available, decarbonization of energy, and if countries do have international partnerships, and if in this country we have energy related planning, because you can set a goal, but we're interested in how actively the countries are moving forward to reach these goals. Are they doing something? As it was mentioned previously, they push it forward just to make sure that, okay, we'll do it within the last 10 years. Okay, so the key conclusions. How did we prepare a review, a report? I mean, so methodology, it's the scientific part. Now, first, we collected the statistical information in the countries, and the members of our group did that. By the way, more than 30 people we have, mostly active members, and they really agreed to look for some statistics. We tried to dig deep in the websites of the ministries, various environmental institutions, and also requested information from associations, climate associations. Then participants filled out a questionnaire, and they provided a feedback and comments on the statistics presented from their countries. Then we processed it, analyzed, we prepared the material, and then we formulated the key conclusions. The fourth stage, we're moving to release and presentation of the ready-made report. We expect to get this full format report November 2021. Just not to lose us, please keep your fingers on the pulse, check the updates. the announcements. The presentation of the report on renewables in the region will be there. So what countries we have? So I just need to know that unfortunately not all countries were open enough. Not all countries have open access to these data. So in not all countries, this information is translated into Russian or English. So we managed to get 9 countries, 9 key countries our report is based on. You can see the list of the countries that we managed to get the freshest information for 2020.
Now I have a small question to you. How do you think, what is the average percentage of energy power from renewable sources produced in the energy mix in the region? So you can give your best guess into the chat. Please type so that we could see. What is the percentage of the renewables in the energy mix of the region in average? Well, most of you are close to the reality. 1, 2, 3, around 5, 0. So what is the right answer to this question? We have calculated. And discovered that on average it is 2.5%. While in the EU, their average percentage in 2020 was 38.2%. There are 2 aspects to it. First is that EECCA region countries, they are in good position in terms of adopting positive experience from the leading EU countries, and they can adopt successful cases. But also there is a negative or disadvantage in this, is that since the EU are very active in their activities towards using renewable energy, we need to see that the EECCA region is using the market of coal and gas, and they have to think about turning to renewables from several positions. This is a very important aspect that has to be taken into consideration. And a little teaser to let you know what we're going to have in our report. Since we are limited by the time, I'm going to show you only 3 countries, while we have 9 countries in the review. So we have analyzed how much renewable energy has been produced in 2020, and also the position of each generation type among renewable mix. In order to have these numbers in a more tangible format, we decided to use a very tangible metrics, the example of multi-story buildings that could be supplied by this energy type. So this is where 9 countries within our report have been analyzed, and we see the results of the study. And the key factors, the key facts about each of the country have been analyzed as well. What is the basic approach towards energy production within each of these countries? What plans do they have? What are their nationally adopted plans? Whether they're successful in terms of achieving those goals, and what their energy mix is, which renewable energy type they would like to develop in the first place. Speaking about the other countries of the region, at the moment we are studying and collecting the information. There are many countries that don't share a lot of their information. These are Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. And by the way, if some of you listening me now have any statistical information available by these two countries for 2020, I would be very grateful. Please write to me in the chat, because these are countries in which it is very difficult to find relevant information. And just as I mentioned before, we plan to present this review in November 2021. Speaking about the future plans in the review, of course, the precise plans for the group will be known by the end of the year. We're going to have another phone call in order to understand what is the plan for the year to come, which projects we would like to implement. But we would like to continue with this analysis and review, specifically in two ways. First is study and research in dynamics of what is happening in these countries in terms of the renewable energy, and analyzing which country is reaching its goals, and also we would like to evaluate existing potential of the countries, which renewable type of the energy is better to be developed in the country, because we understand that different countries have different resources and different circumstances, and we want to make a single bottom line for all countries and for all sub-regions. That is why it would be really, really interesting to dive deeper into this issue. And the second teaser for you is the following. This review, this paper is not the only thing that we have been working on, but the second project that our group has been working on is best practices analysis, where we have analyzed the best practices within the region, and by scanning this QR code, you will be able to find the English version of this paper, also the Russian version. So please could you scan it and read it, and if you have any feedback, please get in touch with us, and maybe you could share with us some cases in the field. Thank you very much, and that's it. Shall we discuss the questions? Thank you very much, Angelina. There was a request to send a link for those who can't use the QR code. Yes, I would open up the space for the questions if you have any questions to Angelina. And thank you very much, Angelina, for this presentation, for the very interesting job that your group has done. Or maybe you have any comments, any additions to this teaser. Okay, so I think this is where we can start our third presentation. Thank you very much, Angelina, once again. So Angelina has shared the link to the article, and now I'd like to give the floor back to Elena and to Konstantin. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So if you're going to have any questions, please do write to us, because we still have time until this major publication of our products, and we are looking for high quality feedback. And this is where we are going to turn to the last product that has been produced under the framework of the climate dialogues. And here I'd like to give the floor to our coordinator of the campaign Just Transition of the Pole region from EECCA, Konstantin Klinitsky, who is going to tell us about the future without fossil fuels, how a just transition might look like in the EECCA region. He will share the materials with you. Something happened to your sound. I can't hear you any longer. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Now we can hear you. Yeah, just sometimes it happens. Okay, even if you didn't hear me very well, you could read it on the slide. And if you have any questions, if you're going to have any comments or something that you would like to share, please drop us a message into the chat. So, Kostya, can you hear us now? Yeah. Hi everyone. Give me a second to view my slides. I'm very happy and very proud to introduce our group and to present the outcomes of our work, specifically knowing about the future publishing of the paper of the situation about the EECCA region. Why I'm going to speak about the just transition, what it is and why it is so important for the region. We do understand that in the EECCA region countries, there are cities and countries that depend on the fossil fuels. This might be regions or cities where these fuels are mined or places where these fuels are being used, but under decarbonization process, under Paris Agreement implementation, it will be a huge impact on the local populations. Many people will lose their jobs, the regional economy might suffer. And here where the question is rising, how to have a smooth, a just transition for this population. So this is specifically the topic that we have been working on. In our group, we have experts from the 7 countries. This is Ukraine, Georgia, Moldova, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, Georgia, and Russia. And the first time when we got together and started brainstorming, thinking what we could do, what our group could be capable of, we immediately understood that a just transition could be a good topic because it is fairly new for the region. So on the one hand, we have quite many countries presented. We have a narrative about shifting to renewables, but how to do it in a just and smooth way. This is what we thought could be needed. So as the initial point, we thought it would be nicer to make a wide analysis about the prospects and the current situation. And the second thing what we could do is to make a summer school, summer academy for experts, for those people who will be communicating, shifting to renewables in their countries. So this is what we were planning to do. And for the next year, which I really like, our group was working so long term, immediately started thinking about the next year. We're going to do the summer academy for the next year. So based on the first study outcome, so we conducted a webinar that took place last week, and there were participants from 4 countries, Ukraine, Moldova, Tajikistan, and Kazakhstan, where we decided to raise the issue, to raise the awareness about the topic that is so crucial for the region. And here, I'd like to ask you a question immediately, and you can write your answer into the chat. And the question is as follows. According to your opinion, which fossil fuel could be dropped sooner in your country? Well, please write into the chat, and while you're writing, I can already speak for my country, for Ukraine. This is where I live and work. Our country mines coal, gas and oil, and the coal would be the most relevant for Ukraine, the first thing that could be stopped and could be refused from. One moment, could you say here? I see also in Belarus, they say about coal. One moment, can we read more? Because it's very interesting what we have here. So yeah, people speak about the coal in Belarus and Ukraine. Also some opinion that Ukraine could refuse gas. Uzbekistan could refuse oil. Kazakhstan coal as well. Okay, then let me continue here. And this is where we come to the topicality of the just transition process. We decided that it would be very nice to understand the situation about the fossil fuels within our countries, who depends on it, which regions would suffer the most, and what would be the prospect of such refusal from using some of the fossil fuels, and how it could be made in the most just and smooth way. So we plan to start this work in. So we plan to publish this work in November this year. This was the presentation of this beautiful cover. Okay, and I would like to mention the authors, because all the 7 countries have took active part. In some countries there were many people, in some countries there were no people. You see in Belarus, you see we did it on purpose from the because of the internal situation within the country and political difficulty, we had to cover the name to guarantee the safety for this participant. And we hope that Belarus would be able to take a more active part in the future. Okay, what this review, what this paper is made of? So first we have introductory part where we'll discuss the just transition term, what it is, why we're discussing it. And then there is the major part about the country profiles, where there would be the main information about the country with a table, with the numbers about the population and other key numbers about the country. And there will be recommendations for the region and description for each region within the country that would be affected the most by refusal from the fossil fuel. And there will be maybe 2 pages for each country's of recommendations, what each country could do. And finally, there would be a general conclusion. Speaking about country description, we decided to have major parts. First is the prerequisites for the just transition, the barriers for such a transition, opportunities and risks. What are the real risks that countries are facing? And I'd like to share with you one example. This is Moldova, where they have their current situation, their prerequisites, so to say, a very strong dependency on imported oil and gas, because we have, let's say, countries that produce and countries that import. For example, Russia produces everything that you can think of, while Moldova, Belarus is the other countries that import. And so there might be subsidies and prices for energy resources as another important factor. For example, in Moldova, there has been a study that forecasted that emissions within sectors are going to grow even higher. And so these countries need energy transition. But also another barrier which we saw, that there is very low interest among public authorities. In different countries, there are different stages of this fossil fuels awareness. For example, in Ukraine, there are a lot of discussions, there are lots of measures, while in some countries, there are no discussions like that. And speaking about possibilities or opportunities.
So speaking about new jobs, also in the sector of renewables and those sectors which will replace the fossil industry. And what I really liked is the opportunity to develop the culture of democracy and joint decision making, because when we speak about just transition, in the very heart of this concept, what we have is a dialogue, not to have this happening like we have national authority and it's just demanding us to do this, this, and this. Justice is about involving communities and people from specific regions and towns which will suffer the most to talk about this with them, to have negotiations, to sit at one table and generate common solutions. So the risks are classical, like for Moldova, the old school dirty lobby we have, and they're lobbying gas, coal, and oil. Still will have it. Again, unfortunately, they will try to stick to what they do. Bad communication for the transformation process. So when people don't articulate it properly. So communication strategy and policy, it's important when we have direct impact on people, because a couple of wrong words may destroy the trust to the whole process in specific countries, in specific cities and regions. And one of the risks is the passiveness of authorities in all transformation processes. And this is just the teaser, let's say, of how exactly we'll present it in the review. It will be presented in a more plain way, in a more detailed format. So what's next? I think that we will present the full review in November next month, and I think the results may become a good basis for the generation of other materials in publications in our countries. This topic can be brought to another level, and next year, if the COVID situation will allow us, would like to have this meeting of experts on just transition, maybe in some fossil dependent regions to be held there, bring experts there to that specific country region to understand what is just transition, what are the principles of it, and even take a special case of the region where we will be, using them as a special case to think what transformation, how can we launch the transformation actually. So that's all for me, I guess. Concerning the review, please check the announcements in November. Please look through the website, the news digest, Facebook, Telegram. This is it from me, I guess. Yes, thank you, Konstantin, for wonderful presentation. Please tell me where exactly do we need to trace their view? Where should we be more careful when the information is about to emerge? The School of Experts. Yeah, it's really good because today in 2021, we had this general concept. We made a decision for this to be organized. We have general concept for a design. And next year, I think we'll start to work in a more specific way, and you will stick to announcements via EECCA, via the digest and the website. Our website will announce it. So this year we focus on the review. Next year we'll continue gathering and talking specifically on the expert school. Yes, we have 2 questions or comments from Kazakhstan. Vlad says that the research in Kazakhstan that they had for more than a year with deep analysis and social impact. The research on the refusal of coal from coal. So in Kazakhstan, another person says it's more of a lobby issue and it's not something unique for the region. I'd like first to comment, okay? We have 7 countries, but no Kazakhstan in our group. I know in Kazakhstan, we have a lot of active flows related to coal issue, yes. They also claim about this difficulty, it's difficult to refuse, like in Ukraine from coal. And we helped, we provided this help on designing the documents for the research, which actually showed that in Ukraine, actually refusing from coal and electric energy generation by 2030, well, we have proof that it's real. just to keeping the network electric network sustainable, but it will be economically beneficial. We even had some modeling and forecasting used. We simply showed how many new jobs will be created in other sectors. So yeah, I think this is constructive. And Bulat would like to comment for more than a year. We've been talking about this possibility to refuse from the coal. The announcement by Kazakhstan was made that this is impossible to be done, that this is quite an ambitious goal because it's socially significant, it's about employment, and so on. So when we go deep in these issues, we can see that only 0.2% of people are employed in Kazakhstan in the coal mining industry. That's not that significant. And the benefit from refusal, only if we speak about the health, it's much more substantial than the losses due to replacement. It's not even about energy economy. So who's standing behind the coal extraction? Coal mafia. And these are big private companies. And coal mostly in Kazakhstan, coal mostly does not belong to Kazakhstan, but influential companies, foreign corporations like Russian companies. And yes, they don't want Kazakhstan to refuse from coal because even despite this despite that the climate policy is being implemented, we don't have solar panels on roofs in Kazakhstan because solar panels are installed with the help of like World Bank, Asian Bank, and other IFIs. So these are mega projects on open spaces, at fields, agricultural lands. These are not, there's no access for people, for average people, because people have to still buy coal. They're obliged to do it. Every resident of Almaty buys 7 buckets of coal per day in winter. So millions. Imagine they have to refuse from money, from huge revenues. And coal is of low quality. And local authorities simply cannot pick good coal. So I used to work once in one of the municipal agencies, and we took this high quality coal for heating, and now all these prohibitions to take low quality coal are banned, and only the influence, that's what matters. Influential parties, they push their own interests. They want this dirty coal to be purchased. So we have mafia standing behind coal, and no social benefit there is, and of course it's bad for environment. In Kazakhstan, coal gives more than 50% of pollution, of emissions. And 0.2% of people are employed there. In 10 years, they will retire mostly. So in 10 years, Kazakhstan can take a commitment just to decrease by 50% the emissions without waiting for 2060 to come. Please don't listen to our government when they say, oh, it's complicated, it's social policy. When you dig deeper, you'll see that there is no national interest, no environmental interest, nothing. You'll see the whole picture, just dig deep. Okay, Bulat, thank you. And it's interesting for me. Can we actually send this version of the review, or can we incorporate data from other countries into the review? It's important to cover all the regions. So Kostya, do we have questions? Okay, we have Olga. So Kostya says that nobody there is from Kazakhstan, maybe from other countries as well, because actually this group is not the biggest one, because people picked more easier topics like climate policy or education. Maybe we have no, not the biggest, but the warmest. It's the warmest anyway. You don't want to extend it. Okay. No. You're misinterpreting. No. If I think maybe there are some people from Kazakhstan who would like to join us, as well as from other countries. Which countries? Maybe someone would like to join. Someone from Kazakhstan would like to join us. Julia was writing about registration in the working groups. Yes. So please involve us, because this research, not all the countries may afford actually such a research, but Germans helped us to do it a thorough research. And by the way, today the Association of Coal Industry Enterprises, they even manifest that they say like, okay, we don't want to be led by those foreign agents. We don't want to have the tariffs growing and social turbulence. But this is speculation. This is nothing but manipulation. This is misinformation. Again, we need to open the truth, because this kind of research, we don't have it elsewhere, even in Ukraine, showing actual situation, what's happening at the grassroots level. Thank you, Bulat. Good. So we have wonderful discussion about Kazakhstan, right? I would be glad if our Kazakhstan experts would join the working groups and continue staying there, because yes, we'll mention this in the end. We don't have a lot of time to go deep into the Paris Agreement, so Georgi does not answer in the chat. Olga, you can refute or confirm that. Shall we have something before the COP, any kind of event, before the negotiation, for us to bring maybe these negotiation-related issues or Paris Agreement related issues? Just to have a separate discussion on Paris Agreement. I don't know if we have time, because 1 week before COP, we would definitely like to present our opinion, information before the negotiation, to make media interested, for them to know that yes, that we'll have 2 first weeks of November like very hot, and you need to stick to climate issues a lot. We will warm up the interest, but I'm not sure that we'll have another big separate event for media organized. We'll communicate definitely via all the channels we have, and also during the COP, please. Our social media will just be the channel for the conference. Isha's presentation will try to keep you updated, interpreted into your languages. Please subscribe to our Facebook, Telegram pages, and to digest and read. Okay, and if you do have any questions, like Davlet, and tomorrow we'll send all the materials that we have and all the contacts our speakers may share, but you may write these questions to us directly, like with Davlet we had, and we'll send it directly to the one who should answer it. So for us not to actually terminate the conversation, okay? Thank you for the presentation. Wonderful statistics, and we continue the discussion. Now we pass the floor to Thea, because we still have another question. Okay, Elena, thank you. We have another question to you. We've already discussed the past. We evaluated 2020, and right now I have a question to you. I'll share with Mentimeter with you. And what is your vision? How can we build this vision? How can we fight the storm we've been discussing today? Again, you can enter, you can actually give an answer. If you had only one solution for the climate crisis, only one solution, what would you focus on? If tomorrow you would want to do something, if you had only one chance, what would you pick? What would you focus on in future? Please tell us. What are natural resources, circular economy? We have, okay. Reducing the consumption, raising the awareness of the society, of our residents. Okay, a sharp decline in consumption of fossil fuels, smart city planning. Okay, smart people. Smart people sounds very good. Okay, so again, declining the consumption, strong civic society, restoring ecosystems. So redirect to renewables to minimize the damage. Okay, energy efficiency. Good. Oh, great.
Осведомление.
Okay, so again, awareness raising. So harsh restriction of emissions for everyone. Circular economy development, the second mentioning of it. Okay.
Хорошо, спасибо. Я думаю,
Great,
что
thank you. I guess we have many ideas on how we can actually tackle the storm in future and what priorities are there in different countries. Okay. Thank you for your activity. And right now we'll tell you briefly on what will happen later, and Elena will share with us. Okay. I would offer Yulia to tell us on how we actually can start or continue using these solutions. What will happen dialogue in future? How can we join the dialogues? Thank you. By the way, I was looking forward to get that Menti with that question. It's really interesting to get what people want to work with, those who are at the conference, what inspires them, because I think that this answer is one of the most important ones. This is about inspiration for each of us. It's individual inspiration, and thank you everyone for your participation, for presentations from speakers, and it's really important. And of course, we want to continue working with climate dialogues next year as well. Please check the announcements, check the newsletters. You may register using the link I gave you, and Olga resent it again. So we'll continue dialogues by the end of that year. We'll have a couple of events as well. We will talk a lot about COP, definitely. If you have any ideas, if you have about events or papers or webinars, please just tell us, tell me, or use the CAN or my personal email. You actually got invitation from.
мы всегда присылаем анонсы.
And follow the news. We always send the news. And you can join our mailing list. So I'd like to wish the great autumn, the great fall time for you. And I expect to see many of you during COP26 and see you very soon. See you very soon, and we'll get to work very soon. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you, Julia. And before we finish, please don't leave because we have very small group work now. You know, just as we do by the end, we always make a picture. So please stay here, turn on your cameras. And besides making a picture, we'd like to ask you just to turn on your camera so that we could see everyone. And besides turning on your camera, please pick up a reaction that would describe your mood, how you feel now. I don't know how this 3 hours went for you, but for me, they were very inspirational. And just as you know, you can select a reaction down the screen. Close to your chat button, you will see reactions, and we'll make a picture. Let's do all together. But first, let's wait for those who are still in the process of unmuting their cameras. Okay, thank you. And now, 1, 2, 3. Okay, choose your reaction. Okay, thank you very much. And let's wait for the time when we'll be able to meet in person. And let's hope that this time will come soon. Thanks very much and have a great day. All the information will be sent to you by email. Enjoy the day, enjoy this October, and all of you who are going to COP, I wish to have very fruitful negotiations and see you soon.